So if you guys did not know, a while back, I got myself the M2 Mac Mini. Now it's almost been 4 months since I've gotten it, and I thought I'd give you guys an honest opinion about a review 3 months later now that I've actually used it. And I want to go over the pros, the cons, and my honest thoughts. Was this regret buying, or was this a good investment? Now, of course, I won't be going over any testing or any other things like that benchmarking wise, because I covered that in my previous video covering the actual product when I first reviewed it. But if you are interested in that, there's plenty of videos on YouTube. Now, for the specs of my Mac Mini, I actually only changed one thing about it. So I kept the 256 gigabytes of storage and actually upgraded the RAM from 8 gigabytes of memory to 16 gigabytes of unified memory, which has been absolutely amazing. It's been able to destroy anything in 4K or 1080p that I've been doing with it. So that's been fantastic, especially when I use multi-audio tracks. So that's been nice. I've been able to just crush everything I do, especially when I want to stream with this thing. I can stream up to like 4 different platforms with this without even it breaking a sweat. You might be wondering, why did I actually get it? Well, I upgraded my dual core laptop instead. So this dual core laptop has been serving me since I think like 2013 or 2017. It's been around for a while now. Of course, dual core laptops, not really gonna do much. I was using it for Photoshop and video editing. However, I've been now using it for like remote desktop, the remote in from somewhere and then edit on the fly, which is pretty nice. However, the only problem with that issue, if the internet is bad at the place I'm working at, it doesn't particularly work out in the long run. So I wanted a solution to make it so like I can edit anywhere I want from my actual like place that I'm like in a hotel. And the M2 Mac Mini's actually done that perfectly, especially since I built up a whole portable setup with it that I can take the actual micro card SD card reader. I could upgrade the storage on this thing because like I don't have to upgrade the internal storage by paying like $800 for 2 terabytes. I can only just buy a $100 hard drive bay and then slap in 6 terabytes, which is exactly what I did, which is solve my hard drive solution, or not hard drive solution, storage solution. But you get the general gist. This thing on the go has been absolutely amazing. However, with all that positive stuff aside, let me just go over why I think this device might have not been the best investment. So first of all, let's go over the positive. This device is an absolute powerhouse, like I said earlier, crushes everything I throw at it with no issue. Now that we got that aside, we can go over the cons because there's kind of a few. So the first con I have is of course the actual Mac Mini storage in itself. Now, of course, you can buy like the base model with 256 gigs, but if you want to upgrade, it's going to cost you an arm and a leg. So yeah, upgrading this thing wasn't particularly like the hardest thing in the world, but it's unfortunate that you can't just buy 2 terabytes for like $200 internally on this thing and be good. Instead, you have to like pay $800. So luckily, this hard drive bay enclosure has been absolutely amazing. I did a review video on it if you are interested at all, where I just slapped in an NVMe drive for 1 terabyte, and then also a 2.5 6 terabyte hard drive, and that's solved my storage problem. So internal storage still an issue. RAM, same thing. I wasn't happy with like 8 gigabytes of RAM. Like, why would you make a device this powerful and only give it 8 gigabytes of RAM? It's so stupid. Like, why? So instantly upgrade those RAM because it's more important, because unified memory, meaning that your GPU can use it or CPU can use it depending on the situation, depending on the load. So if you're using After Effects, it's going to use more GPU VRAM, so it's going to grab more RAM from it. So having more VRAM is actually more necessary, and then the storage is not really particularly the worst in the world. Supposedly the 256 is slower than natural 500 gigabytes on this thing, but I don't think it honestly makes too much of a difference. If you're talking about in the milliseconds, this is fine. Now, the other thing with this device I actually have problems with is the ability to actually take it on to go for travel. Now, I didn't make a full portable setup. If you guys do want to see a video on that and how I set it on up, let me know by smashing the like button. If we get over 50 likes, I will absolutely make a video on it. Now, quick rundown on the Mac Mini portable setup is just super straightforward. I take a USB-C cable, plug it into a portable monitor, which will allow it to power the monitor, also display an output, which is one issue solved for the portable setup. Plus, I give myself a keyboard and mouse combo that's wireless. That way I can just put some AAA batteries in them, and I get input keys for my actual Mac Mini, which is fantastic. And finally, we got, of course, the USB-C hub, which this allows us to have more storage. Plus, on top of that, more ports, which is absolutely amazing. And then I can just use that to on to go. And if I'm in the wilderness, I have a power bank that will just power it for like a few hours. That way I can just use it for like, if I'm in the wilderness, maybe in my car, I don't have an AC outlet, I could just do that and it works perfectly fine, which is absolutely amazing. Now, I will have everything linked down below if you are interested in any of it. If you do use those links, they do support the channel, so always appreciate it. But I want to go over my third problem with the Mac Mini. which is the lack of ports on it. Now, you have all these ports in the back here, but you should be surprised in how quick those ports run out. Now, with this USB-C hub, it actually fixes the main two issues I have with it. Besides the ports, I'm lacking USB-C cables, I'm lacking USB cables, and I'm also lacking the most important thing, which is a micro SD card reader and an SD card reader to take my cameras on the go. I'm actually quite surprised this device in the front does not have that for micro card, SD card reader, and there's SD card reader, because I feel like a lot of people who do professional video editing or Photoshop would love to have this on this device and work, but for some reason they didn't add it. Not entirely sure why they didn't do that. Seems like you have an opportunity to do it here. It'd be so simple to add it just to the front, and I think it looks so clean either way. But just something weird that they could have done, but they just didn't. So another issue with this device I've noticed is weird. I'm not entirely sure why, but all my cameras I use for micro SD card and SD card reader for file formats just work, except for one of my Canon cameras file formats just don't work when I want to like pull footage from it. So it's the most annoying thing when I'm recording on all these cameras, right? They get different camera angles, or maybe get different shots with different cameras because they work in better situations. And one camera I can't grab the footage on because this device doesn't support it. Now, if I had a mini PC setup, I could just do it perfectly fine and have no issues, but it's just weird that I can't support that one file format. I have to double check what it is, but I stopped using that camera just for the time being because like it's a 1080p camera. All my other cameras are 4K and stuff, so I just not too worried about it. Just something kind of want to mention this at the very least. Now let's get into my final thoughts about Mini. Do I think it's a good idea I bought it? Do I think it's a bad idea? Do I regret buying it? So I want to be straight up honest with you guys. I have spent $800 on this actual device in itself, and I've only used it 4 times. First of all, when I first did the review video on it while testing it and doing some other videos on it, and then the second time I've used the Mac Mini has been on to go for travel when I went to Emerald Isles. I made a whole video there, actually crushed all the footage I did. Besides when I recorded that one camera, didn't act right, lesson learned, I'm not using it anymore, and so it's been nice. And then the third time I've actually used it has been when I went to Canada recently this week, and I've used it for making a vlog video. Now, I don't plan to actually post that vlog video, it's just gonna be like a family vlog video, and so it's been pretty nice. And of course crushed it as well, which has been awesome. However, I've only used it 3 to 4 times so far, and I haven't felt like I really got the investment out of it. Now, I could spend that $800 somewhere totally different on the tech channel for videos, but I do feel like though this device is still really good, but I don't feel like I gave it enough time to actually invest in it, if that makes sense. I feel like what's most likely gonna happen is 3 months, not 3 months, a year from now, I'm gonna look back at this video and be like, damn, I'm dumb. This was actually a well-deserved investment. I just think it's one of those devices, since my use case scenario is I don't go out to the house and work and travel that often, I haven't really been able to use it to its full actual potential. And so that's why I'm at this kind of point where I'm like, was it really worth $800? Yeah, that's where I'm kind of at right now. Now, if I could change things different, I probably would have not bought this, but since it's an investment for the tech channel, because I get to test things about Mac OS on it, which I love, just texting, just the best thing in the world, learning how stuff works, it has been actually a really good investment for fun. But besides that though, I don't think it was the best thing of all time. Now, do I recommend everyone buy it? Not really. I only recommend people, like, if you know your use case scenario, this device is amazing, and it's supposed to be the M4 soon, which is supposed to be even like a quarter the size of this thing, which is gonna be absolutely crazy to think about, and same performance but even more because it's M4 instead of M3. Yeah, that's gonna be ridiculous. I'm curious to see how that actually turns out, but yeah, but that's my honest thoughts about the Mac Mini. I think it's a good device. I kind of regret buying it, but at the same time too, I think it's gonna be something better. I look back in a year now and be like, wow, this is actually worth it. But hey, what do I know? I think I got still like a whole year left. Anyways, if you guys enjoyed my video here today, make sure to smash like button, get subscribed to miss some future tech content, because I got a PC build coming out for $150. Yeah, somehow we got that worked. So if you don't want to miss on that, definitely get subscribed. And I'll see you on for another tech video. Tech Grant out.